The slice has to be the #1 bad shot that every beginner is doing. And even if you've been playing golf for a while, I guarantee you struggle with the slice at some point, which is why today we are going to conquer it. But before you do conquer it, you need to know why you're slicing the ball. And I'll tell you what, it's got something to do with your grip, it's got something to do with your club face, it's got something to do with your club path, and it's probably got something to do with your setup because you've been slicing it so long. Well, in this video, we are gonna sort all of them, so let's do it. By the way, stay around for #4. It's so simple, but an absolute game changer. So the first thing we're going to work on is our grip. Now what you'll find with all of these adjustments that I make is they all go hand in hand, they all help each other. But the biggest thing that a slicer has is a weak left-handed grip. If your grip is looking something like this and you can barely see any of them knuckles, that's where you're going wrong. When you have a weak left-handed grip, your club face can rotate more than ever through the golf swing. And more importantly, it can get more open than ever, which is why, oh, hey, it flies to the right. So what we're going to look to do is strengthen up that left-handed grip. Really bring your knuckles a bit more over the club. For me, I always try and see 3 knuckles, or I use Titleist gloves, so I always focus on seeing the Titleist. But what you'll find here is, one, it's actually a bit more natural to keep your hands forward, but also you'll find it's much harder to actually rotate the club as you swing. And that's really important because that's going to help you keep that club face a lot squarer through impact, which means you're less likely to slice the ball and get that massive spin or adjustment to the right, which we don't want. So the first thing, strengthen that left-handed grip. And that then moves me on to my second tip. Focus on where the club face is and our takeaway. A lot of people, when you see them slice, their first thing they think about is they just take the club away. And the biggest thing you see, that roll of the wrist, that roll, and all of a sudden, look, that club face is massively open. So if I keep it on that plane through the ball, look where my club face is aiming, to the right, and that's exactly why your ball goes there. So the next thing you're going to focus on is a nice straight takeaway. Nice strong left grip, and then you want to feel like you keep that club face facing the ball as long as possible, and actually turning your hips, your shoulders, and the club all together. Not drop on the inside, open up the club face, nice and neutral all the way through, and then take your swing. And I guarantee already you're going to reduce all of that spin to the right, that powerless shape, and hopefully you're going to start to get a lot more power through your drives. So once we've then got the grip and that club face sorted, it's now down to the other big part, and that's the classic in to out, massively across club path. This is the biggest reason why beginners slice the ball, and it's actually the biggest reason why you struggle with distance. If you're coming across the ball, you are losing power in one direction or another. If we can get our club path as straight as possible, not only are we going to hit the ball a lot straighter, but we're going to hit the ball a lot further. So the next thing we're going to work on isn't, oh, I want you to feel like you're taking the club out and then inside. You know, we see all these fancy things on Instagram about, you know, dropping the hands in, really feel like you drop the club in. I'm not about that life. For me, it comes down to the fundamentals, and that is your hips. So many people don't use their hips in the golf swing, especially a slicer. What happens is they have very minimal rotation on the way back. If anything, they actually just swing with their arms, which means in order to generate power, guess what they need to do? Throw it over the top. So they throw it over the top and then they drag across. And literally, it's that bad. The way in which we change that is we work on that rotation back. The more we can actually focus on fully turning our pelvis, getting our belt buckle facing the back behind us, and then getting our hands and our hips and our shoulders to go with us, this then pushes our hips to want to actually rotate through the ball. Now notice what happens when my hips rotate through the ball. Oh wait, there's some room for my hands to drop on the inside, get on the correct club path, and move nicely through the ball. And that's the big part you're missing. That is what the pros do so well that you're not doing. You are just going arms over the top. I need to do that to generate power. And yet you're missing the big power source, which is them hips. So the main focus is feel like you're rotating fully back, really feel like you let that hip, that pelvis turn, and then literally accelerate through the ball. And you're just gonna feel like, oh my God, I'm all of a sudden on plane. And this isn't something that gets better instantly, but you'll suddenly find that you're gonna go from throwing over the top, coming across the ball, to all of a sudden feeling like your hands just naturally, not feeling like you drop the club like some people say, just naturally coming on a bit more on the inside to then massively accelerate forward. Better yet, you might actually go from hitting that powerless slice to that nice, powerful draw. and that'll be pretty amazing, right? So the final one is a bad habit that you've developed from literally having a slice. But it's so basic and so important that you need to make sure you're getting it right. And without it, you're definitely not gonna get over your slice. That is your setup. There's a setup that every slicer has. That is the club face massively closed. That is their feet massively aiming left, because all you've tried to do is massively compensate for your slice. But guess what? In order to actually get out of slicing the ball, you need to do the opposite. We actually want to be aiming straight, if anything, slightly right. We don't want our shoulders down here. We actually want our left shoulder up. We want to make sure we're aiming slightly out as well, because that's going to promote that in to out club path that we actually want. And at the same time, we actually want to see our club face. We don't want to be closed like this. We want that nice strong left grip, and we want our club face to almost be lined up nicely with our forearm. So then all it's going to promote is the club path that we actually want. And that is number 4. Get your setup right. Drop all of these bad habits that slice is giving you by trying to compensate for it. You don't need it anymore. You're not slicing it. You're now actually going to hit a good ball, which means you now need to start setting up like it. So make sure you do it. So now you've cured your slice, you need to learn how to hit your irons absolutely pure. And this video is going to show you exactly how to do that. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit.